Yo, so I didn't know this until after I made that video yesterday of me ranting about Bungie nerfing the Cradle and nerfing the loot on Night Marsh and all that good stuff. The Marathon dev team actually made a post talking about this, just being transparent and everything. So I was like, look, if I'm gonna complain, I gotta talk about the other side as well. I gotta talk about what they said here. So I got it right here on my phone, and I'm gonna probably throw it up on the screen somewhere so you all can read alongside with your boy, because sometimes your boy struggles. But hey, look, I digress there. So the dev team said, there's been a lot of conversations about the loot economy and drop changes in Season 2, and we want to share more about how we're thinking about the loot economy overall. Out the gate in Season 2, progression and access to power moved much faster than the previous season. For reference, the average wealth in week 2 of Season 2 is similar to what we saw in weeks 11 and 12 of Season 1. Oh, dang. And while we did want to increase progression speeds, we didn't land at a place that's healthy for the game. There are a few things we're tracking that are contributing to this accelerated pace. There's an issue causing higher rarity loot to be more prevalent throughout the game than we see internally. This isn't something we've seen in our internal playtest, and we're still unraveling the source. There were various bugs and other issues we fixed in recent updates, such as guaranteed gold drops in places that shouldn't have them. While not the main cause, the influx of sponsored kits at the start of the season bolstered progression speeds. While also not the main cause, the sponsored survival grind combined with an issue with the complex control chest also contributed to bloated vaults. And the combination of these things has led to increased progression across the board, including with the Cradle. While we continue investigating the source of the loot drop issues, we've made some tweaks targeting progression, some of which we hope to reverse later in the season when we have other solutions in place. This includes the boosted containers being turned off and nerfs to Cradle XP rates. Thanks for all your feedback so far, and we'll keep you posted on any developments or future changes to come. And again, that was dropped in the Marathon Discord, and I believe it was posted on Twitter and all the other social channels. So first and foremost, I have to say, dev team, I appreciate you all for the transparency, because as I was rambling and ranting yesterday, I'm like, man, what are they thinking? What's going on? So in reading that and in hearing their thoughts, I can see where they're coming from. Through their lens, they're like, oh my gosh, like we wanted to clean up what happened in Season 1, but we came out the gate a little too hot and we were trying to dial that back in. But the nerfs and everything are just placeholders for long-term permanent solutions. And they did this with some nerfs last season, right? If I'm not mistaken, they did this with the Waster. Remember when they nerfed the Waster to oblivion and then kind of brought it back into the mix, right? Like, so Bungie is really trying to make sure that if something is broken on their end, they fix it right away, and it may be a little bit excessive, right, or superfluous, for lack of a better term. And I just found out what that word meant like last week, so I've been using it nonstop. So hey, shout out to your boy. But anyways, like, I think Bungie is just like, hey, look, let's stop the bleed, and then we'll fix it later. It's like putting a tourniquet on to kind of like stop, or like, for the most part, yeah, stop the bleeding to the best of their ability, and then they'll go on to surgery later to fix the issue per se. So again, I appreciate that. I appreciate the communication. I just have a couple like questions, like their first statement of this is being something that they did not see in their internal playtests, like with the higher rarity loot being more prevalent throughout the game than they seen. I'm like, man, who do they have playtesting? You know what I'm saying? Like, for higher rarity loot to be more prevalent, I don't know if they're talking about, man, just higher rarity loot is just in players' vaults and in their hands more than they expected. If that's the case, then look, they may need to bring on they may need to bring in some different internal playtesters, right? I don't know if it's the developers doing internal playtest or if they have a QA team. Either way, like, I am on the board of saying, hey, why don't you guys go find all the Marathon sweat lords and put them through the tests, right? Put them under a heavy, thick NDA and have them test things out. Because if it's one thing about Bungie cats, right? And what I mean by Bungie cats is people that have either played Halo back in the day, my Destiny enthusiast, or these Marathon connoisseurs, right? Doesn't matter. we will always find the path of least resistance, right? Think about how many farming methods that we found over the years in Destiny, right? Think about all the bells and whistles that people found out what to do and how to do in Halo, right? That weren't necessarily game breaking, but just, you know, they were fun. Think about everybody finding all these farming methods in Marathon, right? Like, that's just what players do. And in all honesty, I feel like Bungie needs people like that, whether if they're content creators or whether if they're just regular people that just play Marathon 25/8. I think Bungie needs to start leaning on some of these people, because the community is always going to break the game and they're going to expose holes and flaws and things that you all would have never thought. You know what I mean? So like, had there been some type of, let's call it community NDA playtesting going on behind the scenes for season 2, with the sponsored survival, with the sponsored kits, with, you know, Night Marsh, all of that, and they gave them 7 days to just kind of go ham. I don't know how they compensate them, maybe with a skin or maybe with in-game currency or something. I don't know. That's for Bungie to figure out. Maybe they actually pay these people. Who knows? But within a week, you're going to figure out everything you need to know. Once that week concludes, all the players that went in play testing it, when they have all the purples and golds and you ask them, well, how did you guys acquire it? And the data shows you and they tell you, yeah, we just ran sponsor survival. We got it down to a T and we were able to clear a final boss room in like 15 minutes. Like, it was easy. You know what I mean? Now you know, all right, let's dial some things in. Let's turn some knobs. Let's figure some things out, right? Just having people behind the scenes that really eat, sleep, and breathe this game, man, like, that's going to do you so much more justice. And will there be a chance of things getting leaked and stuff? Yeah, like, that just comes with the territory. But at least we know when the next season drops, if it drops too hot, you know, at least we won't have this set of circumstances again, right? You all will know. You all will be able to dial in things, and if the community sentiment is, hey, look, this is kind of slow, kind of raggedy, it's easier for you all to turn the dial up and give us a little bit more on the plate than to take away food on the plate, if that makes any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's and again, I don't know the semantics behind the scene. I don't know all the details and what it would take for something like that to like come to fruition, but I think that would be Bungie's best means moving forward. Have people play test it, have people break the game to the best of their ability, so that way you all know and can recognize, okay, maybe this is overtuned or this is undertuned, because in an extraction shooter, that is going to be super important to get that right out the gate. You know, there can be things broken with weaponry, like weapons can come out too hot. You know, characters or runners can release too hot, maps can release, you know, too tough. Stuff like that can happen, but when it comes to the loot economy, you can't have that release too hot and then try to cool it off. That's just not going to work. Community sentiment will always be, that sucks, because you're taking away from us and you're taking away from our opportunity. I would, again, I said this before in a prior video, I would so much rather you all release something like cold and we'd be like, dang man, the loot here is kind of weak, and then y'all turn up the dial. Now we're gonna be like, oh man, the loot here is kind of lit, right? Again, it's a little bit of psychology. Even if the end goal is still the same, having something hot and cooling it off, community's gonna say that sucks. Having something cold and warming it up, community's gonna say, hey, hey, Bungie, y'all doing y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, psychology, baby, psychology. But with this all being said, let me know your thoughts about this. What do you all think about what the Marathon dev team had to say? Does this all make more sense for you all? And are you all like, okay, cool, like we'll just write it out? Or did this frustrate you like it frustrated me? And are you like, no, screw that, like y'all need a better solution? Either way, let me know down in the comments below. I read every comment, even if I can't reply to everyone, and I appreciate every single comment. I love you all. Thank you all so much for coming and watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.